We are back here on It's Eric Nagel, Eric, Matt, and special co-host Brian Shea from Game Informer as we are here at San Diego Comic-Con. Matt made the trip.
I did.
How exciting.
I'm super excited. I mean, look, we bitched a lot in that first segment, but the truth of the matter
we really did.
But you know what? You have to get all of the bitching out of the way
To get all the excitement
so you
to
can
follow.
get to all the fun stuff.
I was gonna say, like, we're at San Diego Comic-Con. We should, like, this is excitement headquarters of the world right now.
Yeah.
We should be like super like amped about everything.
No, honestly, like walking the floor, seeing all that we saw, all the stuff we're about to talk about.
Right.
It's been an amazing experience.
It has been.
I haven't been here in 7 years, and I instantly remembered why I haven't been here in 7 years, but I'm loving it at the same time.
And then he will not be here for another 7 years after that. It's like Disney. When you go one too many times, you're like, you got to give it a couple of years before a new attraction.
Let me know when they redo Space Mountain again.
Or when Star Wars Land opens up.
Exactly.
How great was Mark Summers?
Mark Summers was awesome.
Amazing. Salmon salesman.
Salmon.
It was
salesman.
almost like out of his closet in a way, or out of his trunk of his car.
I had that's
Sold
the
it to
fork
Price
in his
Club.
career was salmon salesman or double dare.
Sold it to Price Club, who became Costco, and made a ton of money off of it.
Insanity.
It is. But let's talk a little bit more about San Diego and the experiences that we're having down here before we get to some more of the guests.
Sure.
Some of the features that they have here.
Right.
By features, we mean exhibits that are available both inside and outside of the con floor, where people, the public, are allowed to go in, wait on lines everywhere you wait on a line, and you go in and you see artwork, you see statues, you see some kind of video display, some kind of interactive display.
And some of this stuff, I want to say, it's important to say, some of this stuff, you don't need Comic-Con badges
No.
to visit, because we ran into someone earlier today that I happen to know, and Scott didn't have a badge today, but he was doing stuff all around. He was doing FX, and he was doing Adult Swim, and all that other stuff. So we'll get to that
Scott?
stuff. I'm sorry. The gentleman we ran into outside the convention.
No, I know, but the audience doesn't know that.
Scott is a gentleman who's been listening to the Geek Stuff podcast for years and years, but he first found us when Geek Stuff was on XM back in the day.
Thank you very much.
So there you go.
See?
So it all ties back in.
Brought it back into a circle.
Full circle.
There. So some of the features that they have around here is amazing. Out on the lawn right next to us, they have Comic-Con HQ, which is their big stage. It's almost like their own little amphitheater that they have out there. Comic-Con HQ is the network that the Comic-Con International people developed for a small subscription fee, and it's supposed to go around year long.
Yes, so they have some, they're going to have some exclusive content all year long. It'll be videos and stuff like that. But they also have season 2 of Con Man, which is Alan Tudyk's project. They're the service that is streaming Comic-Con during these 4 or 5 days and stuff like that. So yeah, they've got some stuff going on. It's not I forget what the subscription cost is. It's not too much, so you should check it out.
Yeah, and it's available online and plus an app, so it's streaming, and that seems to be the way a lot of the world is going now, where they don't need to be on your television anymore because people are watching in a million other ways. So they're out there. FX has their exhibition thing out there, which the thing that everybody sees and freaks out about is this huge Statue of Liberty, but the faces of the Strain demon with the worm-like tongue coming out of the statue.
Yeah, picture the Statue of Liberty,
possessed,
but with Venom's tongue.
Yeah,
I know, it looks so cool.
Yeah, right? It looks awesome.
But it's so tall that when you're rounding the pavilion, that's the first thing you see, and it's shadowed by the Hilton Bayfront Hotel, which is at the end of the convention center there, where the entire building is wrapped up in that same face with the demon tongue sticking.
Terrifying children everywhere.
Yes, it really is. It's great and inappropriate at the same time.
Oh my God, I have another terrifying children's story, but I'll save it.
Okay. Or unless you want to go to it.
All right, so very quickly. very quick.
Means I want to hear it.
Me and Eric are walking from...
Eric and I.
Eric and I? Is that what I'm supposed to... Grammar Nazi?
Go ahead.
Eric and I are walking back from... I think it might have been Adult Swim the other day, back to the convention center. And we passed a guy who was dressed as Snow White.
Yeah, I think I've seen that guy.
He's kind of heavy-set dude. He has a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow. So this little girl is walking with her mom, and all she sees is the back of Snow White. And she's like, Mom, Snow White. And Mom's like, yeah, you just saw her at Disneyland. So they must have been at Disney before they came here. And the little girl's all excited until they got right around the front of Snow White. And then the look on the little girl's face turned to abject terror. It was just I was like, oh, I feel so sorry for that mom. How does she explain that now?
I mean, you see, like, I know some things about the cosplay community, obviously, because of who I'm dating, but you see some people who do, like, some really awesome, like, gender bend cosplay. Yeah. And, I mean, but, like, I understand the little girl's perspective of, like, you have a set of expectations when you turn the corner and you look up at what you think is going to be Snow White. And it's just like a dude with a 5 o'clock shadow.
And it's bad.
Like, I mean, I saw a guy at the con that was doing a gender bent Harley. Yeah. But, like, it wasn't just a guy with a beard dressed up as sexy Harley from, like, from, like, Arkham. It was like he had, like, on a red and black suit with white diamonds going down one pant leg, and it was, like, it was a good gender bend on the costume. Like, that's cool.
One that I saw was actually there was a guy who was Harley and then I guess a girl who was Joker.
Yeah,
and they were walking around together. That was pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome, yeah.
Well, so that's all going on.
So there you go.
There's the FX Expedition over across the tracks. And the highway there is Petco Park,
right?
Where the Nerdist and Geek and Sundry have the carnival going on.
Right.
Always huge lines. And the cool thing about Petco Park is they have these different areas, these picnic areas, party areas, that there's all different parties. MTV had a party going. I know our friends, the Impractical Jokers, have their block party going on over there. And then in their parking lot, there's another carnival where it's just... TBS was over there, some electronics
Sony was over there,
local radio station there, and then it's surrounded.
Razor was over there.
It's almost like when the settlers going out west had their caravans in a circle, and then the Indians are coming around it. The whole parking lot is surrounded by food trucks. So no matter what direction you go, there's a different food truck of a different variety of food.
You died of dysentery.
I know, because like I'm never gonna make my way through all these
Have you
lines.
made it over there yet, Brian?
I haven't. I've like seen like the Ferris wheel and everything when I'm walking across the bridge.
There's a pop-up Jack in the Box that is Walking Dead themed.
Aren't all Jack in the Boxes pop up?
Yeah.
Hey.
That's Walking Dead themed.
Meaning Jack in the Box, the fast food chain.
Restaurant, sorry.
For those who don't know, not a big machine that you crank the handle and zombies shoot out and scare kids.
It looks like a Jack in the Box that's been run down during the Walking Dead time frame or whatever, and there's a zombie serving your food.
So just for anyone who's never been to Comic-Con, everything is designed around scaring young children.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Yet it's family friendly. So yeah, there's that, and then
I like the South Park.
Oh yes, we still got to walk through that.
We still have to walk through there.
Right near the light rails, they got a whole strip of this park, more of a rectangle shape than most layouts. But it's all huge wooden cutouts or actual crafted figures from the South Park world.
Yeah, because it's the 20th anniversary of the show.
Right, it's a big 20th anniversary celebration. There's the school bus where all the kids are leaning out every window. Then you can go and take your photos with the kids when they were the anime ninjas.
So many photo ops.
You can take a photo with Butters and Osimo.
I want a picture with General Disarray and Professor Chaos.
There's that.
The
you can
PC principal.
You can sit at the tea party where Eric's with Clyde Frog and Polly Prissy Pants drinking tea. There's a chili booth that you can go over there.
Scott Tenorman.
What's his name?
Scott Tenorman.
Scott Tenorman. You get Scott Tenorman chili.
And Eric's licking the tears from his face.
It's just brilliant all the way around. There's
the Coon is over there.
The Coon is over there. There's the giant nut sacks.
Yes.
When everybody's bouncing on the nut sacks. There's a cop car where the cops are beating up Stan's dad because he's in his pants all drunken.
Jesus and Santa doing karaoke, right?
Yeah, there's the aliens and the cows from the first episode.
First episode, right, yeah.
That's all there. Terrence and Phillip greet you on the way out.
Yep.
It's peppered through the lines, too. There's different cutouts that you can take photos with and little hidden Easter eggs.
Last night we were walking past there because we had only walked past the front of it. I didn't realize if you go around the back, there's a ton of stuff in the back.
Yeah.
Too. Like it's huge back there.
And it pretty much all directs you into this giant tent, which is to highlight their brand new game, The Fractured Butthole, from South Park. And you go into the tent, and I'm guessing they have either the new trailer for the game, or they have demos of the game playing so you can check it out. And then as you leave the tent, Terrence and Phillip are farting on you as you leave.
See, this is why I need a next-gen console. Overwatch and Fractured Butthole.
I love that name so much. Like, and I know like the reason that they had that was because Matt and Trey just knew they wanted to have butthole somewhere in the title, but they needed to be creative about it so that they didn't so that like retailers wouldn't refuse to stock their game.
Right.
And so like they were thinking about like, how do we make this happen? And then they're finally like, I got it. Fractured butthole.
And the trailer for that game, if you haven't seen it, I think we talked about it, but if you haven't seen the trailer for that game, where it's totally like them trying to figure out their cinematic universe, and they trash on DC, and they trash on Marvel a little bit, it's genius.
It's so great.
Good.
Well, what is
anything with the Coon and Friends is hilarious.
Because what was Token's character? I forgot what his character is. But he was saying, why can't I have my own movie? He's like, are you kidding? You can't have a black guy have his own movie in phase 1?
In phase
it's like,
1?
we barely got it into phase 3. And you're like, oh my God. This is...
Well, so for those who aren't familiar with the game, like the first game, The Stick of Truth, was like kind of like Lord of the Rings style fantasy. Like that, they were all like role-playing as like these fantasy characters. And then this one's supposed to be like the superheroes. So like the superhero craze is taken over for the fantasy craze that was happening at South Park. And like I think in like one of the trailers, even like one of the kids was like trying to be in the fantasy thing, and they're like, "No, that's old. What are you doing?" They look at him like he's an idiot.
Where do they go from here? I kind of want them to go back and do Harry Potter like they did in the episode with the
with the porn tape.
Yeah.
Well, that's available to walk
Butters
through.
my precious.
For the South Park. Who knows? Maybe they bring it some form of it to New York City for New York Comic Con.
That would be awesome.
That'd be great.
Yeah, actually, do you remember for New York Comic Con when Stick of Truth came out? Were you there for that?
I wasn't.
When Stick of Truth came out, they set up downtown South Park, Colorado, in the Javits Center. They had all the storefronts set up.
Well, they had the storefronts as the backdrop here.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But yeah, that's really cool. I love when they do that.
Yeah.
Like, especially like South Park lends itself so well to that because it's like
absolutely
the perfect style of stuff, and like it can't be like super hard to make that stuff because it's such like rudimentary shapes and everything.
Yeah, it's like cutouts. It's someone with a jigsaw.
So you can check that out. There's the Timeless exhibit for NBC, which is right out in front of the Hard Rock, which we didn't know too much about this show, but it looks pretty good. And then what's the other NBC show they had the exhibit for that looks like it involves Wizard of Oz?
Emerald,
right?
Emerald City or something like that?
I don't know anything about it.
That looks really cool.
And that's right by the trains. And then this leads to where we went the first night, which was HBO has the Hall of Faces. So you go into this really dark room, and they have the iron throne that you can sit down there, take your photos with. Then you can go into this other little area and you see the Red Witch's fire that's predicting the future and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. You see the dragon eggs. They have costumes. They have weaponry.
All of Daenerys' jewelry.
Yeah.
I looked at that and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, how much is that? Thinking it was like, a few $100s. I think it was like something like $12,000.
Oh my god!
I think it was like all diamond.
I thought it was just for exhibit.
Well, they had the designer there. Like she was talking to it, and like it was like, this is going to retail. Like it's not like for sale today,
right?
But like I guess they're like showing like what's going to be for sale eventually, like a lot of exhibitors do nowadays. And like, yeah, I was like, oh, this is going to be a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Nope.
They had what's her name? Sword. Why can't I think of the character's name right now? No,
Stark.
Yeah, Stark, the young Stark.
Oh yeah, Arya Stark. Needle.
Thank you.
Needle.
Oh, the needle, right.
Yes, you could pose with the needle sword and like you're impaling somebody or whatever you want to do.
I actually posted my picture, and one of my followers photoshopped it so it looked like I'm fighting Captain Hook from like the Disney movie.
You did pose very dramatically.
I did, yeah.
Send that to me. I'll put it up on our Twitter account. And then on the other end was the Hall of Faces. They had
so cool.
The big, from floor to ceiling, the big circular wall pillars. Sorry, the big circular pillars where all the faces are present. And the pond right there that changes. Look, it's a flat screen underwater, but still, you know what it is when you start seeing stuff coming through the pond. But you can go and take your photo, and they do it with LED lights shooting up from the floor into your face to blind you on purpose.
Right.
So you're closing your eyes and you take it, and then that's the effect that they use to put the faces on the wall.
Onto the wall.
And most of them ended up looking pretty good too.
Yeah,
like, there were some that like
really
stuck
good.
out like a sore thumb because they didn't frame it right or they made a dumb face. But
some people like just had it like with their eyes like wide open. And it's like, why would you do that?
It even says close your eyes before you take the picture to like make it look right. But
But you take your photo, and then within like 30 seconds, your photo's up in the wall and keeps rotating.
It was cool.
I think you look like an idiot for half an hour trying to find your photo on the wall.
It took me so long to find mine.
If you ever been on a cruise, when they take your photos all around, when you're dining in the dining room, or if you're out by the pool bar and whatever it's going on, they have photographers everywhere and take your photos. So then they have the photo deck, where you go and try like an idiot, same thing. You're trying to find your family photos in all these different galleries, and then you go, wow, I look horrible, I'm not buying that. And so, because there's 4 people in the photo, they printed 4 versions of them.
But the people at HBO did an awesome job with that setup, and they had some posh giveaways, which was pretty cool.
Right.
And that was definitely a lot of fun.
It was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, it was. That was a lot of fun.
I think my favorite thing was the Suicide Squad and Samsung thing that I went to. So basically, I'm really excited for the Suicide Squad movie. So I was like, I've got to check this out. They have like a whole like building devoted to this, and you go in, and there's like this like Amanda Waller, who's like the woman who's like kind of gathering the Suicide Squad members together. She gives you like a quick mission briefing, like telling you what's going on and like what your expectations are, and then you go in and you're in the jail where the Suicide Squad members are held, and you're just in a jail cell, and they have a Samsung like 360 camera, and you're in there with one other person. It's like 2 people in this cell, and like you can just pose or do something crazy. So I was like grabbing the bars and like holding on to it and like acting like I was screaming for the picture.
Nice.
And then like went over and some guy had a phone. He's like, "Yep, here's your picture." And like you look at it, and he's like, "I'll send it to you." And I gave him my email address, and I still haven't gotten it. So I don't think I've ever seen that picture again. But it was a pretty cool thing. And then you walk out, and it's just the bar of this place is just decked out in like the bright colors, like the neon colors of the Suicide Squad stuff, and like up on the wall there's like worst heroes ever.
Nice.
In like bright neon, and then like they have a few different like stations. So you go over to your left, and there's like a makeup station where like you can get your makeup done like Harley or the Joker or any of the other members of the Suicide Squad.
Awesome.
Next to that is the VR station, which is my favorite part. We can come back to that. There was a Harley Quinn tattoo parlor, which you could go and make your own custom Suicide Squad logo. So like I made one and like put like different things on it, like kind of like you see like the caricature skulls that they're using to advertise. So you can make your own, and then they make it a temporary tattoo, and they'll put it on for you. Or I'm taking mine home. They had another thing where like you could take a quiz to see which character you are, and like I intentionally got Harley Quinn, and then like it's like, oh, if this situation pops up, how do you handle it? And I'm like, oh, hit somebody with my baseball bat. Obviously that's going to go for Harley. And so then you go up and there's a green screen. This is the reason I want to do Harley. They green screen you, and then they do like kind of like a Snapchat filter style thing where like it superimposes features of that character on you. So it's just me standing up there with like a backdrop, and I have the multicolored pigtails of Harley Quinn like just floating on my head. I think I posted it on one of my social media accounts, but it just looked really dumb.
It's on his Tinder account.
It's on my Tinder, yeah.
Swipe.
My non-existent Tinder. So then they had another thing where you could use that same logo that you made to get a T-shirt press that looks like Harley's T-shirt, only instead of like saying "Daddy's Little Monster" across the front, so it's like the red sleeve baseball tee. They press it and it has your custom logo on it, which is kind of cool. And then the VR thing was my favorite thing, and that was like you sit down and it's the Samsung Gear VR, which I know you have.
Right.
So you sit down, they have the chair has a vibration thing on it, so like it's even more immersive, and you're just in the middle of an action scene in the Suicide Squad movie. I don't think they've even shown this action scene in like trailers or anything, but it's like just an open room, and all the guys are going around fighting like these creatures. And I mean, I couldn't really get a good look at it, but like you're just in the middle and you're looking around like 360 degrees. Like I look to my left and I see Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn like beating some guy with a bat and like wrapping around his neck and strangling him. And then like I look over and Will Smith's like straight ahead like shooting some guy, and you just look around and everybody's all around you, and then they kind of come to the middle and like you just look down and like they're right below you. Like you can like look around and like it's like, oh man, like Margot Robbie's right there, and Will Smith's right there, and that guy's there.
I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get to do that.
I mean, I think it's still going on, but it's just like I don't think the media hour is still going on. But after that, it got even cooler. The director comes on the screen next, and he goes, well, that was a pretty cool scene, wasn't it? Well, a lot goes into filming a scene like that. Let's go check out what it's like for an actor to go through that scene. And he's like, you're going to be taking the role of Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. So it's pretty much like a first-person view as Margot Robbie. So like you look up and like you see like her pigtails. You look down, you're like in her outfit.
Oh my god!
And like it's actually like they put like a GoPro or something on her, and like she's going around and like you see like the first person view of like her like hitting the guy with the bat and then like wrapping the bat around his neck and strangling him and then coming around.
That's
and like
awesome.
she like did a thing where like she like I guess like one of the characters, I forget who it was, but like he bent down and she like kind of went over his back with her like her back touching his.
Right.
And like you kind of like see that and like but they got rid of all the special effects, so like it's just like her going up to like the stunt man and like fake hitting him with the bat, and like you hear her just like kind of like like the grunting of like swinging a bat.
But that's a cool behind the scenes.
It was
feel.
such a cool thing. Like that was one of my favorite things I've seen since I've been in San Diego.
VR has a huge presence at San Diego this year.
They're banking on it being,
being the next big thing.
Next big thing.
We'll talk about the Rick and Morty VR. Probably in the next segment or two. But the other VR stuff that they have going on, Warner Brothers had their Batman. Virtual reality stuff set up in the center of the floor there, and the lines are enormous. People aren't even buying anything. There's nothing to buy.
Nope. They're just online to do it.
Yeah.
But you didn't get to check it out?
I walked past it. They have the screen so you can see what they're experiencing.
I got to check it out at E3.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I mean, there's two modes. There's Be the Batman or Become the Batman, where you like it just you're in the Batcave, which is awesome in VR, by the way. Like just like descending from Wayne Manor into the Batcave is like one of the coolest VR moments I've had. And then like you put on your armor piece by piece, and then the other one is like Become the World's Greatest Detective is the other one, the other segment that you can choose from, and like you're investigating a murder, and like you can like watch like reconstruct the murder scene, like you watch like this big fight happen like right before your eyes,
right? And
it's super cool. Like so, I'd recommend it like if you can get to it, but like you said, the lines are ridiculous.
Yeah, they are ridiculous. But VR seems to be not. It's always come and gone since the 90s.
Sure.
As like, oh, this is going to be huge, but then it becomes a fad, and then nobody puts real money or effort into the technology or the push for the marketing, and then it goes away again. I mean, let's talk about Nintendo Virtual Boy for a moment there. Everything was red in a red grid, and you thought you were dying.
I mean, that was a different thing. Like Virtual Boy and virtual reality are two very like it's the same like thing like you're putting a dumb little mask on your face, but. I mean, that was just awful implementation of that thing.
Yeah, but they were trying to jump into the virtual reality, craze at that moment.
Kind of, yeah.
But back then, virtual reality was you wore the goggles, but you stood in what was like a circular container so that you didn't fall out and hit and hurt yourself, but that's what you did. And the graphics look like that shitty flight simulator that you learned to make in school.
That like weird vector.
Right.
Like Star Fox, OG Star Fox on SNES.
Yeah. Something like that, but now it's back, and so I guess a lot of these companies are realizing there's some huge potential with this, especially if Samsung is backing one of them, and you have the HTC Vive as another one, and of course Oculus Rift.
And Facebook owns them, so like they got the financial backing.
Yeah, so it's not going to go away anytime soon, and the way that they're, from what we've seen, this is going to be the big Christmas gift this year. If they get it out in time.
And they're finally able to ship when you order it now. Oculus finally announced that like if you order an Oculus Rift headset, it ships in like 2 or 3 days.
Oh, wow.
So they're at that point now where like it's not like a 3-month wait like it was when it first launched.
Yeah, I waited 3.5 months to get my Samsung gear, so...
I'm just going to wait till it's available on Amazon Prime.
There you go.
And then that's when I'm going to pull the trigger
on it. It'll be there next day?
Right. Let's go back into some more of the guests that we've had a chance to talk to. We're going to head back over to Nickelodeon and talk to some of the cast of the Nickelodeon version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
Now, we got to talk to some different people from Ninja Turtles back in New York Comic-Con last year. This year, we're again talking to Rob Paulsen.
Which I can talk to anytime, anywhere.
If you don't know him, we'll just say Yakko Warner from Animaniacs. But he's done so much more since then. But he's Donatello right now. He actually was Raphael in the original animated Ninja Turtles series.
Really?
Now he's Donatello.
Right, now he's Donatello.
A little bit maturation happening in those years.
Yeah. We also had Greg Cipes, who was Michelangelo.
Right, and then Erik
Bauza, who plays Tiger Claw.
Right.
So that was pretty fun.
And back again on the orange couch with the big white lettering, the big white shag carpeting, and it's a look. If this is what babies experience before being born, this is where you want to stay forever. It's warm and cozy, and you're just happy being there, and you don't want to change a thing. So we'll go back over to Nickelodeon and talk to the guys from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Killers in the house, shall we go.
We're here at San Diego Comic-Con. We're back in the Nickelodeon room. Everything is orange, even the furniture.
That's a good thing, though. And it's more nostalgia.
And we talked to Mark Summers last time, and this time we have the cast of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I'm excited. I'm a huge Turtles fan. Huge Turtles fan.
So let's go around the room and see who we're talking to. Who are we talking to here today?
Tiger Claw.
Oh,
Erik
no.
Bauza.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. I love your shirt.
Isn't that cool?
Thanks, thanks for sticking for the original. I appreciate that.
Hi, I'm Rob Paulsen. I'm Donatello, the smart one with the bow staff. And to my right is...
Booyakasha! Michelangelo up in the house.
I love how
Speaking
well
of
dressed
orange.
that he is. I love the hat.
Oh, thanks,
That's
man.
very Axl Rose, like 80s going into the 90s.
I just feel, I got it specifically for this Nickelodeon TMNT San Diego day today, and for the panel and everything. It really reminds me of, like, I don't know, I feel like this guy really deserves the crown, Rob Paulsen.
Rob Paulsen.
But I feel it's like a
it fits you. And
a princely hat.
what's so great is that, I'm sorry,
For
what's
the-
so great...
We're in the turtledom here.
When I asked Greg this morning wearing this hat, you folks can't see it, but when it's a remarkable hat. It looks like Robert Preston on acid. For those of you who watch The Music Man, but I said, Greg, where'd you get that hat? And he said, here. I mean, at Comic-Con.
It
Makes
came to
perfect
me
sense.
here. Yeah, I love it.
In a time and a place where everybody is wearing these elaborate costumes to try to stick out, it's hard to stick out, and you found a way to stick out from the guys trying to stick out.
I think the best way to describe it is it's the outward representation of Michelangelo's personality.
Yes.
That's nice. Thank you, guys.
So let's talk the Turtles here. Very successful since the start on Nickelodeon, and since inheriting the keys to the kingdom, we'll say Nickelodeon has done a really great job in all aspects of the Ninja Turtles of keeping the brand alive, the brand new, and coming up with new ideas where people would think. Like when Disney gets a property, everyone's like, oh, now Disney owns that, they're going to ruin it. And then it turns out it's like, no, they're going to do everything possible to make it not only financially successful, but to keep this going forever. And that seems to be what Nickelodeon is doing here with the Ninja Turtles.
They definitely did it. I heard last year there was a Ninja Turtle toy sold every 30 seconds.
The entire year.
All year,
whole year round, yeah.
all year long. And Nickelodeon definitely, made the Turtles, better than I ever could have imagined, bringing it back the way they have.
It's interesting. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and thank you for saying what you said, because this question comes up all the time in panels, and you can see it on the internet too. When the first Nickelodeon Paramount Ninja Turtles movie came out 2 years ago, it was all about, oh no, they're making a movie. Michael Bay's gonna mess it up. Blah, I hate Michael, blah, blah, blah. Well, the first trailer within a week got like 40 million views.
Yeah.
And so that question came up, and it often does, like, Mr. Paulsen, what do you think of, Michael Bay's bastardization? I said, well, first of all, I haven't seen the movie. Secondly, Michael Bay has a track record. Nobody gives Michael Bay $100 million to make a movie if he hasn't got a track record.
Right.
So just like you, there are many people who, with our iteration of the show, are like, oh no, they're going to mess it up. And then people your age watched it and said, wow, they didn't.
Right.
So nobody buys a Star Wars or a Marvel Universe or a Ninja Turtles franchise to screw it up.
Right.
So, thank you for
That's
saying
so
that.
funny. It's like we spent $6 billion on this property. We're locking it away. Screw the fan base.
and I get that people have all sorts of anonymity and are able to say whatever they want.
Right.
But you kind of say, you know what? If this is ruining your life, that somebody you don't even like, well, I've seen every Transformers movie and I hate him. I said, well, he got your $12 8 times.
Yes.
So what are you talking about? Anyway, thank you for mentioning that, because
No problem.
Nickelodeon has done a remarkable job about not only keeping the franchise alive and moving it to new places, but selling product.
Right.
It is a for-profit
The marketing
business.
is very well done.
The marketing is excellent.
They're putting the money. They're investing in their investment. They're putting the
Yes.
money into it, saying, "Look, we can't do this on the cheap. We really can't cut the corners
Right.
on a lot of this stuff. Let's make this work. We got to put the money we need into it. We will make it back." And you guys
Absolutely.
and
there's
you guys
nothing
have.
wrong with that. That's what capitalism about. It's done well, and it's done right. And so, thank you for mentioning that.
One last thing on that is, I think it's because everyone sees Nickelodeon and they see Disney as, when they obtain these properties, as kiddie. They look at it like Nick Jr. and like, they're going to make this too safe, too whatever, too cornball dialogue. Not realizing, maybe not in Nickelodeon's case, but like in Disney was making cartoons that showed during newsreels for the soldiers during World War II. They were for the adults, and somewhere down the line, it got branded as, this is baby stuff. Same thing with Nickelodeon, where they were like, oh, that's baby stuff because maybe the stuff they did in the 80s. But if you watch the program develop, the pavilion on the floor with all the 90s retro for Nickelodeon, people are on the stoop for Hey Arnold. They're taking the Chucky wigs and the glasses and going nuts for that. And you think that they're for kids, but you watch it. There's an element that keeps the adults watching it with their kids because it's not cornball.
Well, you don't think that everybody that walks through the gates of Disneyland is a 9-year-old?
No.
It's $100
It's the adults paying to go to it, yeah.
That's right. And why do we see people lined up when we're doing signings, and you will see the same thing today. You'll see people lined up 2 or 3 deep down the road as far as they can go. Mom and Dad will be wearing their old school Ninja T-shirts, and they're literally in tears, happy.
Yeah.
And the kids will be wearing their Nickelodeon Turtle T-shirts.
Right.
And of course it is. It kindles that kid in everybody. And if you do it right, like Nickelodeon has, then you can have your cake and eat it too.
Well, one of the other things with the toy line is it's successful because it's harder and harder to find the original first series of the toys. They're like, all right, we got to come up with different variations of these things, and then now they're in space, they're underwater, all this stuff like that, and those keep going.
Yeah.
You keep seeing new generations of the same series that's out right now.
Right.
It's hard to see the shelves stocked with these toys.
Right.
For whatever reason, they just are cool toys to play with. They're very well made, and they totally, I collect. I got a few
do.
Tiger
It's okay.
Claws.
You don't have to.
I got a few Tiger Claws on my shelf, but it's like, because I grew up watching it. I remember having the original toys, and why not? I'd love to get into the next generation if I could.
Yeah, I always look to the people involved in the show and then the creative people behind it. And if they put their stamp of approval on it, that's a huge boon for me. If I trust them. I just spoke to Kevin Eastman a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, what do you need? What more do you need?
Exactly. And he has his stamp of approval on everything. And he has different feelings about each generation or each version of it, but he loves them all. And if he loves them, who am I to question the guy who made it?
Right. He and Peter created the whole damn shooting match.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I if it's good enough for them, but as so often happens, because now everybody's got a microphone, and
right.
I mean this with all due respect, because you guys are responsible. But everybody's got a microphone and a platform and can do something on YouTube or whatever with total anonymity, and doesn't have to answer to anybody. They can just say, all right, are you guys as pissed off as I am that they're ruining my childhood?
Exactly.
Oh my God, please, if that's the biggest problem you got in your life, you gotta aim higher.
You gotta move on.
Yeah. And again, because these things are very expensive to produce.
Sure.
Just the logic of somebody like Disney or Nickelodeon or Paramount or whomever spending millions and tens of $100 million to make a movie. Do you think they do that to screw it up?
No, of course not.
No, and ultimately the fan base will decide thumbs up or down. And if you get enough thumbs down, they don't make another one.
Right.
It's real simple.
But the fans love it
They
because it's a
love
great
it. Of
show.
course
And you
they
guys
do.
do a great job on it.
Thank you. And it's fun.
Unfortunately, it's a busy day here for you,
Yeah, you
and
guys are
we're
great.
running out of time. So, Matt, you being the big Turtles fan in our group here, I'll leave you with the last question.
It's not even a question. I just got to say, for me personally, Donatello has always been my favorite. I have a 5-year-old son who is everything about Michelangelo. So this is awesome for me on 2 levels. You guys,
Eric,
are
I like
great.
Tiger
You
Claw.
guys-
Don't
we
feel
all
left
love
out.
Tiger Claw. Who doesn't love Tiger Claw?
Thanks,
you
bro.
guys are great. But tell us where we can check out the new season or the Turtles going on.
Well, the new episodes start airing the 14th of August.
Awesome.
So there will be, I believe, season 4 episodes that have not yet aired. And then more than likely, I don't have a date, but the new season will probably start in October. But
How many episodes?
20, I think.
Oh,
20,
nice.
Yeah, 20. However, we still have a number of season 4 left that have yet to air, and those are starting on the 14th of August. So check your local listings. That's kind of like saying member FDIC.
Everyone has Nickelodeon. The days of I want my MTV or call your local cable company are over. And if you missed it on there, Nickelodeon has an on-demand online.
Nickelodeon.com, all of that stuff. Yeah, you can
You can
watch them
download
there.
to your iPad, put it in the car.
Right.
The what?
Anything that has a reflective surface. There's an episode airing on the side of my bottle here. It's going to be great.
Yeah, like my forehead.
Walls have turned into Total Recall, and
Yep.
everything is Minority Report screen.
Nice.
So you can find it anywhere.
Beautiful set.
Eric, Paul, and Greg, thank you so much
Thank
for
you, buddy.
taking the time to talk to us. Thanks to Nickelodeon for everything they've done with the Ninja Turtle franchise and what you guys are doing, and best of success. We'll look for the brand new season.
Thanks, pal.
And I want to talk to you next time. Maybe you're in New York for New York Comic Con. I
Hope
don't
so.
know.
Great.
We'd like to talk to you guys then.
All right. Thank you very much. Pleasure.
It's Eric Nagel at San Diego Comic Con.